No, I don't. I try not to use Google. I only use it on my email for business stuff because I don't. Oh, don't get me started.
Well, we'll start. We are live.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Normally, I mean, it's Sunday. We're a bit late than the usual 2 p.m. slot, but it's because, for the first time on Ask the Drummer, we've got someone who's not here in the UK. You're in Canada. And normally I also sort of like remove you from the screen first and introduce you. But because we're running a bit late, so I thought,
my fault.
Let's give you a straight away. So, my dear friends, please welcome the one and only Gaz Whelan. Yay! How are you?
I'm all right, a bit stressed Sunday morning. Yeah, it's my fault we're late because I don't understand technology and computers. I can just about use an ATM card on the computers. I've got no interest in technology. And when it says like you have to use Chrome and all that, I had to ask my wife what Chrome was. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was actually my fault. We should have actually sort of like done a screen or sort of like a test run beforehand, but I just thought, no, it's gonna be okay.
We're idiots. I don't. I've just not. I mean, I'm on my laptop all day, every day. I use it all the time. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not that. I'm not into technology at all. So it doesn't really. I'm an old dinosaur, so I'm getting left behind. But I'm happy. I'm happy with being left behind. I want to be left behind. So I'm going to bring it down straight from the start. Go on.
So you're now in Canada. What's the weather like?
It's warm today. It's about 16 degrees. But I'm not allowed out. I'm isolating, so I'm not allowed out. I'm not even allowed in the garden. If you have a balcony, you're allowed on that. But I'm not even. It's really strict here. Don't get me started. I'm not even allowed to go in the garden. But I do. Well, actually, I don't. But I'm not allowed to go in there. I don't think you can get to the edge of the garden. I think you can step out. I don't know. So after this, I've got a live PCR test where I have to do it on camera live with a nurse.
All right.
Okay. It's just with the airport he arrived. It's very strict here.
Yeah. Well, we've already got people who joined us for these podcasts. We've got Rob Jones. He's the drummer of the High Five in Wahid. If you remember him, there's Angela Riley, Trevor Palmer, and Dubia Frederick. Dubia is in Los Angeles, I believe, or somewhere in California. But yeah.
That was a good drummer name, isn't it? It's always good. If you got a name like Palmer, you're always going to be a good drummer, aren't you?
Right. So last time I saw you, that was at the 3 Oldham Street, and it was really embarrassing because
I forgot about that. You see, you should have brought it up. I forgot about that. Oh, you knocked a drink over and smashed a drink, didn't you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And someone else's phone as well, because it was standing on. He was videoing. He had his phone on the glass, but it was just really cramped on that sofa. Yeah. So when someone was looking for his mobile phone, it was all like we're moving about, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so." I couldn't move.
It's Pat from Wales, from Cardiff, from Swansea. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
All adds to the made it a bit more exciting than me wobbling on. Anyway, that's a bit of excitement to it all.
Okay, so welcome to Ask the Drummer. Episode 19 is all about you, Gaz Whelan. So we're gonna start right from like the very beginning. So you're born and raised in Manchester, right?
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Manchester?
I was born in a place called Weast, which is in Salford, which is around where the docks are. Across from, where not far from Old Trafford. Where
Weast, yeah.
Behind the Lowry, where the Lowry Centre is, behind there, just behind those.
Yeah.
Then I moved a few miles up the road to suburbs called Swinton, and I kind of grew up there all my life. All
right, so you're Salford, not really they're all sort of like one big place, isn't it?
It's like saying it's all the same thing. It's like saying Brooklyn's not New York, or it's the same thing.
Yeah. So what was it like growing up? Because I mean, for me, I moved here like 25 years ago because I think Manchester is the best city in the world. So, and I wish I was already living here at, like in the 80s.
I've
So,
been absolutely gay part of my life. Where did you move from?
from the Philippines.
Oh, from the Philippines. Actually,
Yeah.
I've never been to the Philippines. Okay.
Yeah. So, what was it like being here, growing up in Manchester, and especially sort of like the music scene? When you were.
When I was young, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's going back to the 70s. When I was a little kid, little tiny. I didn't really get into music until I was 11. Actually, that's not true. I started having classical guitar lessons with my sister when I was 8. We used to go every Thursday to this place in Eccles, which is, people don't mind what it is. And we used to have classical guitars. And she was really studious, my older sister. She was really good. She wanted to play piano, do all that. She never played a note since, but she did all that at school. I wanted to play, T-Rex and, and all that kind of thing. And I just didn't learn. I wasn't very good. And then when I was 11, I had a really bad accident before starting high school. You start high school at 11 in England. And I fell, broke my left arm, and the bone snapped and came through, and I damaged all the nerves. And I was in hospital for quite a long time. And they didn't know if I was going to lose my arm. Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to lose my arm, and they still didn't know whether my arm would grow or the nerves would hurt back. I didn't get feeling back in the fingers for about, I was about 17, so about 6 years. So I had lots of developing, had problems with it. So I had to give up the guitar, which I was kind of glad, because I wasn't really studying. And then when I was in hospital, I heard the Sex Pistols for the first time. So this would have been about 1970s, end of 77, 78. Sex Pistols, and the DJs used to play it at night, late night. Submission was all that I've swearing on. And when I came out of hospital, my parents bought me Nevermind the Bollocks. My parents were big rock and roll. They were into my dad was into gospel and rock and roll music, all that kind of stuff. So we used to have that blaring out, and soul music, and soul and funk music. So I kind of grew up on a menu of all that. But then punk came in and rebelled, and then punk was kind of for the older people, like kind of Sean, people older than me. I was too young. But by the time I'd come out, I think the Pistols had split up, and punk would become pop. And then about 77, the Specials came along. That was my age group. I was 14, 30, and that I just jumped on board with that, and I fell in love with music. And that was the first gig I went to. The Manchester Apollo was the Specials, Selector, Madness. I think that was my first gig at 14, and then but it was always a lot of soul music. A lot of people had people were obsessed by soul music. Soul music was really big in Manchester.
Yeah, is that Northern Soul?
That started in Manchester. Funny enough, our first manager, Phil Sachs, was one of the first pioneers of that. And the irony of Northern Soul was it started in London. I don't know, do you know the story about where the name came from? Northern Soul is quite interesting. There was a well, I think it's quite interesting, probably quite important.
Yeah.
There was a record store in Soho, on Denmark Street, I think it was. And when Manchester United football supporters used to go down, I'm Manchester City, I suppose, but I'm United fan, so Man United and City, and teams from around the area, Bolton and Wigan, they used to go down there. They used to go to this record store and ask for rare soul songs, Motown songs that never been released. So we had to try and root them all out for him. And they didn't have much time because they were going to the football game when the teams were playing a London team. So to save time, he actually made a box and wrote on it Northern Soul, so we can combine and find these rare records. So it's actually a Londoner who came up with it, which is quite ironic. So Northern Soul was before my time as well. That was when I was young. I used to see these kids, like the mid-70s, when I was like 7, 8, 8, young, all the older kids going up to Wigan by then.
Like Wigan Casino and stuff like
The bus used to pass through where we lived, called the number 38. That went straight to Wigan. So you see them all queuing up with the Adidas bags and the flares. And they always looked a lot older than me because they obviously were. And I just remember them all. They all looked really cool, these kids. They were all the dancers. But no, soul was just always, it's just omnipresent in Manchester. I don't know why, it just always has. Manchester.
Well, I actually found out that drums is not your first instrument, it's the guitar. And so what got you into drumming? What changed from playing the guitar to into drums?
This is a real it's the same old story that's been repeated a million times. I was so in 1980. I remember it was 1980 Christmas Day. I'd come out of the two. I listened to come out of the two-tone, and I didn't listen to the Beatles. I wasn't. I kind of rebelled against all that, you know, because I wanted to. I was 14, so I wanted to be sound tough and being, you know, oh, that's stupid, you know, and be different. And then Christmas Day, I remember our Christmas dinner was delayed for an hour, so from the usual 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So at 3 o'clock, I turned the TV on BBC Two. Hard Day's Night was on, and I've looked up since. It really is. It was Beatles Day on BBC Two, and the first scene was in the train. It was Ringo. I was just like, I was just drawn to it. And I was like, oh, how funny he is. And then I got into the Beatles, and obviously got into the music, and not so much Ringo, but there's something about him that drew me in. Something about not his. And I saw him playing drums. I was like, oh, I mean, obviously, you know, Keith Moon was just phenomenal. I love that, but that kind of transfixed you. Something about something different. He wasn't. It was like he was part of the band. It didn't matter what he was playing, what instrument he was playing. It's a weird concept of the Beatles. I don't really know how to articulate it. He was just something really charismatic about him. I like the way he played. He played for the song. He wasn't flashy. He didn't do all that. He actually played just for the song. It was really simple. I thought, I could do that. And he was quite funny. And I always kind of thought myself as, I always wanted to be like a comedian. I thought I was going to be a comedian. And then, when you play if you've got a good sense of humour? The drums, they're always, you know, that stupid stereotype. And I did. And then I remember seeing it. I mean, Dad used to play every Christmas Day night. He used to play Elvis in Vegas, on VHS cassette. I remember just the drum. I remember the choir, the backing singer. I remember it being huge and great. And then the drummer he recently died. I think he died last week, didn't he? I can't remember his name. But he was drumming. I'm thinking, that was a good job. And I thought I didn't like being the centre of attention, so at the back I could hide, you know.
Oh.
that was the reason really was so I could hide. That was what, you know, being abandoned, hide. And I didn't have the feeling back in my fingers, so I couldn't go back to. So it just seemed.
Yeah.
That was it, really.
So he's actually your inspiration, Ringo Starr. Have you met him? Have you met Ringo Starr?
Yeah, I saw him at the Albert Hall. Went to an Oasis thing in 2000 when I was living in London, and he was across. And I met Zach, his son, a few times. Zach used to put me on the guest list for the Who. A lovely guy. But I don't. Yeah. Never met any of the Beatles. Never met any of them. Which is, I'd love to. No, I'd love to. So it's just something about him. I don't know. I just kind of. And then, funny enough, around that time, there was a film, really strange thing, a film with Richard Gearing called Yanks. And it's an early 80s film set in Northern England. And it's about American troops going over to the UK during the Second World War.
Yeah.
And bringing kind of, you know, boogie, bringing music. They had music. And there's a clip in where they go into this, like, you know, this dance at night where all the locals are dancing, you know, doing a waltz and all that. And then they go, no, come on. And the drummer gets up and he starts playing. And the old crowd, and I'm thinking, oh, so the drummer dictates the attitude of the audience, you know, he dictates whether it's slow, fast, whether you enjoy, you know. And I thought, oh, that's something to do. And plus, you hide at the back, you know. You're not in the limelight, which I really enjoy because I don't like spotlight.
Yeah.
So it was that, and I kind of, you know, I had a couple of lessons, but I didn't. The guy was doing all this rock. I was never really into rock drumming, kind of funk drumming, soul funk drumming, and like kind of James Brown, you know, drummers with like kind of James Brown, all that kind of stuff, and Ike Turner, Ike and Tina Turner, all them soul drums. I loved all that kind of stuff. You know, that was the kind of stuff. Rock drumming never really did it for me. I mean, you know, I appreciate it, but it was the funk drumming. I love groove, you know, and break beats and all that. Yeah. That's the kind of thing. So, you know.
Dubia Frederick from California, he wanted to ask you, have you seen the Beatles documentary, Get Back?
I watched the first. I was saying to go back to Canada. I watched the first part on Friday. I'm watching part 2 tonight and part 3 tomorrow. Yeah, I can't wait.
All right. Well, I haven't seen it because we haven't got Disney. But
no. Apparently, there's a link.
Yeah. Trevor actually said that to me as well. Apparently there's a link, but we'll see. If I've got a friend who's always send me the link.
Subscribe to Disney for that, just for the you know, just to watch it because I can't miss it. Yeah. But I mean, everyone said it because Ringo changed everything. He just did. You know, I don't know why. You know, because he wasn't. I mean, it's not a myth that he's not a great drummer. I think he's a great drummer. I think he's very original. I mean, technically, he might not be, you know, Mr. Rudiments or things like that. He's a great music drummer, like Charlie Watts. I love understated drummers. I love all that, you know, the technical stuff and all that. It doesn't really interest me. It never does, which is not a problem. It's just not my thing. I like drummers who play for the song, not who.
Yeah.
But that's I still admire that as well. And I love jazz. I'm not a jazz music fan one bit really, apart from maybe John Coltrane. But I love watching jazz drummers. I love watching jazz drummers. Art Blakey, I just love watching them. They fascinate me.
Oh, were you in any other band before Happy Mondays, or?
I was 15 when we started, when we formed.
You were 15. Oh, it's like with Craig Gill, wasn't it? So Craig Gill was only 15, I think, when he started with Inspiral Carpets. Yeah, so it was quite young. I got what year was it when you started? Because when I was doing my script, I looked on Wikipedia, but I can't understand why you're not on Wikipedia. No one has actually written about you.
When we had our last management,
yeah,
we called a meeting and we had to do personal Wikipedia. And me and Paul Ryder refused. I don't want anything up there about myself. I'm not. It's not of interest. I just don't like all that kind of stuff. I'd rather just. I'm not even comfortable doing, like that show we did the other night. I said the guitar talking, tell his stories. I had a couple of days to do that, but I'm not really. It's not really. I don't like being. I don't.
Yeah, because Bears and Sean Ryder and Rowetta, they all have their own Wikipedia entry. But
they're the celebs or the entertainers. That's what they do. It's just not my bag. That, you know what I mean? It's just people, different strokes, different folks. So it's just not my bag. I'd rather remain, and the main thing.
So you were 15 when you joined Happy Mondays.
Yeah, I mean that's a bit of it. I was turning 16, so I was like,
yeah. And you were the youngest. You were the youngest of.
By far, I think Sean was 20 and getting married at the time. I mean, literally, I think the week after I joined the band, we got them together. Yeah, the four. This was beautiful place to Sean was getting married and had a house and a job and all that. So yeah, that was by far the youngest year.
Right. Well, Richie Dempsey, who's he's a drummer of Some Shapes, or he was in Dawson as well. I think Dawson was a 90s band or something. But he said that your drumming made the Mondays, and he also said that you're not a baggy drum beat guy. Yours has sort of like rhythmical beat. That's what he said. He's a drummer, so he should know. And
I don't. It's Tony Wilson, who's off Flex Records, was always trying to push me and Paul Ryder to do more interviews and more press because of the rhythm section. In his book, which I didn't know, I've become friends with Tony. But his book, he mentioned us, and he said, we changed because we're doing it's the usual indie band we brought. Because me and Paul were really into disco, love disco music and funk and soul. Paul, disco music was around at the fairgrounds, in schools, everything. Then when I was 14, 15, it was all disco. So it just soaks itself into the fabric of every cell in your body. So if you love that, because I wasn't a big rock person, so I loved it, So like open hats and the offbeat and all the triplets. I loved all that kind of, the four on the floor, the funk, which dance music ended up being, just came from disco,
Yeah.
So we was into Echo on the Bunnymen, so we just incorporated that because we wanted to be a funk band, and Mark wanted to be a rock band, and Sean wasn't bothered. And it kind of just happened, And I remember thinking, I remember the Daily Telegraph doing a piece in the 90s saying, focus on me and Paul, and they wanted to do a follow-up interview, and we just went into. We don't want, we didn't want any of that kind of stuff. Just did what we did, and it was just by luck and by chance. This is what we did. That's all. There was no planning. We just did dance and funk grooves, and the others did their thing. Luckily, it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. It works.
Yeah. Well, I must admit that I've only heard of Happy Mondays when I was living in the Middle East, and that was in 1990 during I think it was your second album, The Pills and Thrills and Bellyache. Was that second or? It was 1990, but you started earlier than.
Pills and Pills was 90. We bummed before that, yes. We did one before that as well. What's the album? It's the third album we did. I don't know.
Well, Trevor Palmer, he wanted me to ask you this. He saw Happy Mondays support the Weather Prophets in Hammersmith in 1986.
Wow.
And also the Jasmine Minks in Camden in early 1987.
Wow.
He said, do you remember much about those shows?
Yeah.
And the audience reaction?
I think, not about the audience reaction. I think people were very confused. Because it was a lot of actually the Weather Prophets. we got put to support them, and they thought we wouldn't get on because there were very a lot of bands around that time. We were long trench coats, winkle-pated kickers, kind of Velvet Underground out. When we loved Velvet Underground, but we didn't dress like that. I didn't think we'd get on. We had to get on with them really, really well. They're a great band, the Prophets, brilliant band, and we got on with them really, really well. And I remember the two of them, they were factoring people were worried that it wouldn't work out. It did. It worked out really well. So I do remember that tour really well. I remember. I don't remember it was with the Jasmine Means. I remember Camden. We did a couple. One upstairs in a pub, which is really bizarre. One with Pop Elite itself as well. Their first London gig. Oh. That was in Camden, and one in Camden Lock. What's that venue called? With the big pole in the middle of the stage. Can't remember. So I do remember them days actually quite well. Yeah, they were the best days. I know everyone says that, but they were the best days. You know, when you're trying to, back then it's different kettle of fish these days. We're trying to, but the journey, they were the best days. It was really, when I look back, it didn't seem at the time. But yeah, I remember them days really well, and that's amazing for them to remember that.
Oh, well, Trevor said that Pop Will Eat itself were also on with the Weather Prophets.
Oh, were they?
I
remember there was one. Was it a Ulu we played? No, there was one of the first gigs. I think it might have been a Ulu. I think our first London gig was with Pop Elite. So I just remember the name. I didn't know they were on with the Prophets as well. I didn't know that. Yeah, we did a few. It was weird because we had an audience in London and in places like Leeds way before we had one in Manchester. Us and the Stone Roses couldn't get arrested in Manchester. I was saying that the other night. We were the two. They just kept us on the fringes. No Manchester music industry scene, radio, press hated us and the Stone Roses. They wanted us out of the way. It was all about the nice bands. They didn't like us at all. And we had an audience. Oh yeah, we had an audience. We were selling out audiences in London, Leeds, and other places before. People were getting no one turning up to Manchester gigs. No one would come. Yeah.
I also they've said that the Pills and Thrills, that's the third album. It's Squirrel and G-Man.
G-Man, that's what it's called. The first one. Yeah, we did that in London. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I also want to say hello to Neil Barker. Neil is my colleague at King B Records, so he's just joined us as well. So hello, Neil. I've got another one, Richard Bourne. He said that he remembers going into Penny Lane Records in Chester on the way home from art college and getting a copy of Bond. And he said the rest is history. But that was like the second one, isn't it? And
yeah, it was kind of weird because early on, it's really interesting to say that because really early on, the audience we had back then was not what people think our audience was. People think our audience were these kind of like, I don't know, football hooligans or whatever, but they weren't. They were people from art colleges because all the gigs then were at universities, the colleges. And I was kind of happy with that because that's the kind of, they were the people who knew the music. I used to have a girl near Chester. Actually, no else near Portugal from that time. We used to near Chester. But yeah, they were all music from art colleges, and it did. And Bum's probably my favourite album. Maybe the last one, but it was just good fun, and it was just a good time recording Bum because it was weird because we were listening to acid house music. We were taking ecstasy, it appeared. We were doing it up in Yorkshire, away from Manchester, and we had a room at the back of the studio where there was cassette players that just had dance music on 24 hours, and that was the party room. Lights were out. Dance music on 24 hours a day and separate from the studio. So when you'd done your bit in the studio, you just went and partied in this room. And it went on for days and days and days. And it's weird because the music on the album is nothing like dance music on Bum. It's nothing like, there's a complete separation. It was really weird. But we just had a really good time with Matt and Anna. It was just insane. I loved it. And it was just really good time recording the album. Just really remember, it was just really good days in Bum.
Well, I missed out on that one because for me, like I said, it's the third album. It's Pills and Thrills. And I've also said that I want to thank you personally because Manchester bands for me at the time when I was living, it started with the Smiths. When I was a teenager, of course, I had the Smiths, and New Order, and Joy Division. But then when I went as a young adult and I went to the Middle East and lived there, that's where I discovered the Stone Roses and Happy Mondays and Inspiral Carpets. And for me, it's like that's the place I wanted to be. I wanted to be in Manchester because I wanted to be where that music is coming from. Oh. So I really just want to say thank you so much. Happy Mondays. The Stone Roses were actually the ones that I always say that they sort of like saved me from going insane when I was in the Middle East.
Yeah, the Roses were a lot more accessible to music. It was a lot catchier, it's more popular. You know, they're a lot more.
Yeah.
I think with us, you either loved us or hated us. I think it was hard to dislike the Roses. You know, it's really hard to dislike. With us, it's either you love or hate us. I think with the Roses, it's hard to dislike the Roses. I think it's hard to dislike them.
Yeah, because there's that moment when both of you were on Top of the Pops. That time, I was.
Well, that was the kind of first time we really met them. We bands in Manchester didn't really mix, and kind of all get your own council and just did your own thing. Unlike bands in Liverpool, who all kind of get on and then we went down. And the funny thing was, Top of the Pops was interesting because when we arrived, they were rehearsing. They were going through their run through, Phil's Gold, and beforehand there was a shop in I mentioned this on the night on Bridge Street called Richard Kren's, and he was this 6'7" giant. Who had all like really expensive, rare designer clothes, which was quite rare back then. So he's talking like, when was it, 1989? So he saw a chance to get, you know, we'd on Top of the Pops, he'll give you bands clothes for free. Obviously, wasn't going to pay for it. So I'd gone in and I got this black Gaultier thing with like a split with like a Bruce the black with a red and white thing down the middle. And I got that, and as I walked in with that on, Ian Brown had the same top on, but he had the red version with the black and white, you know, like. And we just looked at each other, just pointed, we just burst out laughing. And then we met him in the bar, and then we all just got on really well. And I'm still, you know, to this day, friends with Ian and Manny. Still speak to him all the time, you know. We just got on really, really well. There was never any competition or anything. There was none of that nonsense between us. We were good friends.
Yeah.
It was a good day. And then me and Ian stayed behind and watched Tina Turner do a run through, a pre-record, sorry.
Yeah.
Everyone was in the bar. Me and Ian left the bar and went to watch her, and she was fantastic. You know, 80s aside.
I was so like, because last month I actually saw you 3 times in 9 days, and that bit about Tina, like Shine On, Stretford.
Oh, was she Shine On as well? Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. Like, and 33 Oldham Street.
I like the Shine On was good actually. But we couldn't work. Me and Steve Hadge was the Stone Roses tour manager. The thing was, we couldn't see anyone because when we were in that stupid big room they put us in, that big stage, then the dance was dark and everyone was sat at the back, so we couldn't see anyone.
We were sat at the back because I don't think we were allowed to go at the front. I don't know. It's like no one was at the front. So I didn't want to be at the front.
From the stage, because of the light, we couldn't see anyone. It was just black. It was just an empty room to us two. We couldn't see anything. It was really bizarre. But I actually enjoyed it. We couldn't see anything, but I actually enjoyed it. It was good fun. That it was good laugh. Because you can tell.
There were loads of us sort of like just sitting down there and sort of like like listening to all your stories and stuff.
I actually enjoyed that one. That went really quick. I enjoyed that. But then that story about Tina, it's a true story, yeah. And then she walked past and Ian Brown said, "Go on, T." And she turned around and said, "Oh, you English boys," or something like that. But he said she said something else. But I'm sure she said that.
Because I was telling, when I went to this like get together with Forgotten 80s group, and I was telling one of my, it's Neil Barker, my colleague, what you said to Tina Turner, and so like when she walked past, and he just said, "All right, T."
Right, T. It wasn't me. It was Ian. I wouldn't say. He was all right, T. She just turned around. But I'm sure she said, "Oh, you English boys," but he said she said some. He sent me an email recently saying, "No, she said something else," but I don't think she did.
Yeah, she wasn't angry though. She wasn't so like.
No, quite the opposite. No, she didn't like laughing. No, not. She wasn't angry. No, not at all. No, she was fine.
Yeah. Another thing that I found out is because I don't know why I was so like oblivious to this, but Happy Mondays disbanded in 1993.
Did we?
So
yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Was it 93, 92? Yeah, we did. Yeah, right? for about 5 years or something. Yeah.
So did you do? So between that and then we formed in 1999. So between 1993 and 1999, did you do anything sort of like music wise?
I tried not to, but I did formed a band with Andy Rourke from the Smiths, the bass player from the Smiths. He was my brother-in-law, so I actually met Andy, and he's in the Hacienda.
And Andy Rourke is your brother-in-law?
Well, he was, for 20 years. Yeah, he. Well, we met in the Hacienda, and I didn't know him, and I met him, and he just met this girl Maxine, and they just got married. I ended up becoming really good friends with him. And I got sick of, by this time, this was 89, end of 89, I got sick of partying 24 hours a day. I'd done 3 years of it, 2 or 3 years of it. So they just got married and bought a house in Burnley, so I used to go back with them, back to their house. We used to sit up drinking, and that's when he got me into my younger brother's into the Smiths. But I never listened to the Smiths because we didn't want to sound like them, so we consciously didn't listen to them, not because we didn't like them. And he used to play Smith records. I said, "But your own records?" And he go, "Yeah," because he had a few drinks. We'd sit up, and I got really into him. And then his new wife, Maxine's sister, was doing it and was coming over to visit. And 31 years later, we're still together. But Maxine and Andy since divorced about probably 15 years ago now. But yeah, so we were family dues every Sunday. Every Sunday, their parents, I've been Andy. Went away with Andy. I love Andy. It's just beautiful. Well, he
lives in New York now, isn't he? He's in New York, yeah. Yeah,
he's not too well at the moment, but hopefully. So keep in touch, and as seen, I've got loads of good memories, good times with Andy, like family holidays and trips, and I think we were together for was it? Yeah, maybe 15 years, I think, maybe. Yeah. So we used to go to Africa, where our father-in-law was from, to Ghana, West African trips, and he's just a kid, Andy. He's still like a young kid. He's just lovely. He's not got a nasty bone in his body, and an amazing bass player, phenomenal bass player.
Yeah.
Just lovely. So I played with him for a few years, and we got signed to 2 major labels who were arguing over us, and the manager kind of played the 2 labels off of each other, and it didn't end well. Yeah. So I just got fed up with the business, and I didn't want anything to do with it for a while. Then I moved to Australia.
Yeah. I found out when I was researching you and stuff. So you lived in Australia for 4 years.
Yeah. My eldest son Kofi was born there at a record label, and then I was travelling back to UK. The band was just doing the odd gigs, and then it got more and more, so we just moved back. And then we were going to move to France in 2008. Had a house and everything, and then the housing market crashed. I can't remember. And we were going to go to New York, upstate New York. So we had a house, and I was going to move to upstate New York, up at, proper hippie in it, just in the middle of nowhere, get away from everything and kind of off grid. Yeah. I had a friend from Canada who said, "Oh, while you're waiting for the process, which is a 2-year process, I'll sponsor you to come and work in Canada if you come and do some talks at these." He had a music college. So I went, "Yeah, okay." So we did that, and we just stayed. But
yeah.
I'll be coming back to you in the next couple of years, probably.
So Manchester, Australia, Canada. Which would you? Or are you going to be staying there in Canada?
None of them, if I'm honest. None of them. Yeah. We're probably going to head back in a couple of years. But I won't live in the city. We'll live outside the city, somewhere outside of Manchester, somewhere. And I like Europe. Miss Europe. So we'll get a place in Europe somewhere quiet. It's like a quiet life, away from everything. Will's too busy for me, too noisy. I'm miserable and old now.
Dubia is asking, can you describe your drumming style in 2-3 words? 2-3 words.
Not being the 3 words is not very good. Yeah, I'm not practiced. I don't practice. So I didn't really do. I do some rudiments. So watching football, I'll do sometimes. To warm up, get ready. But I was just into break beats. Like I used to love Stevie Wonder's drumming. I love watching Stevie Wonder drum, and then kind of funk. And all them loose drummers and two James. Mine's got blanks in your mind. 2 drums I know well, can't remember. I just love that soul funk drumming, so I just like the groove. So I didn't want to learn to do, drum solos or go around fast around the kit. That can be a bit of fun sometimes. But I just wanted to hold the groove, basically bass drum stand higher. Like at the moment, I just use this. I've got my old Sona kit from the 80s. It's an 18-inch bass drum, Sona light kit. It's been missing for 10 years. I found it, and it just 18. As I'm getting technical here, 18-inch Sona bass drum. Which is just phenomenal, especially when you play with backing tracks. It really punches through. I've got a Brady snare that I bought in New York. It's Australian, which is about 25 years old. Which is a piccolo, which is amazing. And I just think that and the snare, just them three things are what make people dance and groove. The rest is just extra, you know. They're the main things, you know. They're the bread and butter. And that's I just love watching grooves and funk grooves. And I just love watching not syncopation. That can get a little bit too noodly for me, but some just beautiful loose funk grooves that just make you cannot dance to them. You know what I mean? That's what it is for me. That's what drums are about.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, that's just
well,
me.
Trevor said, were Can an influence on your music? As he can certainly hear them in the Happy Mondays at times. Can is the German?
No, but actually Jackie Leibovich, yeah, brilliant drum. No, funny enough, and it was really weird. We'd never heard of him, and it was one day. I went down to Wembley to see Man United play Newcastle. I went with Manny from the Stone Roses. Did soccer everywhere we went, and we watched the game. Then we went back to what's his name from Primal Scream? One of the lads from Primal Scream.
Bobby Gillespie.
No, he was there.
I know.
It's a flat in Maida Vale, right near the BBC studio. So it was me, man, and we sat there. And Manny went, "So I'll put some music on, put Can on, you know, the Mondays." And I went, "What? Never heard of him." He went, "Can." I went, "Never heard of him." And he went, "What? None of the Mondays have heard of Can." I went, "No." He went, "But you sound exactly like him." I was like, "Never heard of him." He put it on, and I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh no!" What? ACR and Factory used to rehearse needles, and they were into Can. Maybe something filtered through, I don't know. But yeah, when he played me, I was so shocked, and I was like, "It sounds exactly like us." But no, they weren't. Funny enough, they weren't.
No,
it's pure coincidence. But well spotted, because we sound exactly like. Even have song titles that are the same. You know, it's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre.
I've got to listen to that then. I've got to look it up on YouTube.
No, until then. I can't remember what year that was. 1999 Newcastle final. But yeah, I hadn't heard of him until then, and I play him all the time. Love him. Yeah, absolutely. They are. It's very similar.
All right. Well, you just got. How's your family, by the way? So, because you were missing them when you were over here.
Yeah,
so,
it's
so good for you.
It's complications with stuff, but it's hard. No, I've been back a week now. They're probably sick of me, probably ready for me to leave again.
Yeah, well, I know that feeling, because when we were little, when I was in the Philippines, my mum worked abroad, and because she was a nurse, and she had I know how hard it is not to be with your parents, or not to be with their kids.
I did when I was a kid. The same. My dad was an electrician, and he worked abroad a lot. He worked away a lot. And, but he used to go for 4 weeks at a time, and he used to, it was awful. I never get used to being away. I don't really like it being away from family, but I think they like it sometimes.
Well, you just finished the tour with James. How was it? I should have actually, on Friday you played in Manchester. I should have been there. I don't know why I didn't go, but I should have been there.
We'll go back a long way. I mean, it's only really Tim and Jim who are the original. I used to really like early James, the kind of folk band. I really liked them. I mean, it's still a great band, great show. But I didn't stay down to watch them because we were on early. So the good thing about being on early is you get to leave early. So I'd be back at the hotel or back home with a cup of tea or a Jameson's whiskey or a bit of wine, watching the telly by 10:30. That's how rock and roll I am these days. So, long tours. There'll be the odd night where I'll go have a late night. I'll go back. I like going back to the hotel and drinking the hotel bar. It's quiet. You can just go to your room. I'm not in big parties and all that. So, but there wasn't any of that this time because of the rules, the COVID rules. So there was nothing backstage. So. It was quite a good tour. It was quite pleasant. Uneventful, which is probably a good thing for us.
So, during the, I saw you do a talk. You didn't do a talk in Stretford, but the two ones in China and the 33 Oldham Street. The one thing that I found out that really was surprising was Bez's dad is a high-ranking police.
Yes, no, well, kind of. PD, the keyboard player, his dad was really high-ranking police officer in Great Manchester Police, really high up, the top 4. Yeah. Bez's dad was high up in CID, plainclothes, which and he was head of CID for some for that area, for the Northwest. And that's true story. We were going to Ireland to do a gig, and we were flying out of Manchester Airport. And Bez's dad run the airport. He was like the CID there, and he arrested Bez before he got on the plane. They'd fallen out and spoken for years. And Bez had outstanding. It was a driving offence, nothing, something and nothing. It was a silly little offence. He hadn't paid his fine for some driving offence. It'd gone on for years, so they had a warrant out for him just to, and his dad actually served the warrant on him at the airport. We got on the plane. And we're like, "Where's Bez?" We said, "His dad's just nicked him as he's going boarding the plane." It's a true story. That was about 18. I think Bez had just joined the band. Yeah, and it's really true story. And he never came to Ireland with us. He was doing his old flat.
I just thought that's really funny. But is that where Call the Cops or like? Is that where?
No, there used to be a guy. No, when the Hacienda was in full swing in the late 80s, the dance music. By the end of the night, when the music used to end, everyone used to shout, "One more tune, one more." And there used to be a guy who used to shout, "Call the cops!" Really loud. That I can't remember his name now. Bobby, he was called. He used to shout, "Call the cops!" And that was his kind of call. He used to shout it all the time.
Really?
Yeah. So there used to be a few people used to shout. He's like, "One more tune, one more tune." He's like, this guy so shout, "Can't remember it. Call the cops!" Yeah.
Oh my God! And that was at the Hacienda.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy used to shout as it closed, the lights went off, the music went down. He used to shout, "Call the cops, call the cops." He was just always shouting it. You could hear it across everywhere.
Oh my God, that was so cool. But this is a bit serious now. In 2016, you received an Ivor Novella Award. And I looked it up. It's actually an award for songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that you received, which is the Ivor's Inspiration Award, can you tell us more about it? Because there's not much details.
I didn't go to the award thing because I don't like stuff like that. I don't like awards now, so I didn't go. Well, I got it because it's songwriting, and because it's for songwriting, I kind of treasure it. So I've got it. I've actually got it here. It's one of the awards, the only award I keep. I'm not really into awards and all that, but I kind of like awards because it's because it's about songwriting. But I didn't go to the event. We had the event to go and get the award and get to do a speech and do all that.
Oh, you didn't go?
No.
Oh.
Well, that kind of stuff. So I didn't go now. But I've got it here. But yeah, and it was, I think I didn't even. He sent me a video footage of the ceremony. He was saying about how like I was saying before about me and Paul would start with bass and drums. I would bring this on Mark and bring the guitar and the keyboards, and we'd create this song. That's how we used to write. The music and show the lyrics. We used to write from bass and drums up, and then guitar. And well, not always, but that's kind of how we used to jam in them days. So it was good to get that. But like I say, it's just
But which one would you prefer though? So like playing the guitar or playing the drums, or they sort of like just both? Because you do songwriting as well. There's songwriting and then playing the drums.
I think you can songwrite playing drums. I mean, I don't know. It depends. Depends what day you ask me. I mean, I've not got a drum kit here. I had a drum kit in the basement because my son was playing, but he doesn't play anymore. So I've got a drum kit in the garage. That's up, but I don't play. So I'm here for another 4 or 5 months. I won't play drums until I get back to England. I've not got a space. I've not got a flat, an apartment in England, so I've got space to practice or play. So I don't play drums. So I play the guitar. I've got the guitar here. I play guitar every day, but I don't play drums every day. But both. I can both. I can both.
Yeah. Well, when I saw you at Shine On, and you were watching Black Grape. Were you sort of like checking out the drummer of Black Grape?
No, because he covers for me in the Monday sometimes. Shay, he's a lovely lad. He's a friend. Shay's a great lad. He's a really good friend, Shay. So I couldn't do the Island Mondays and Scotland gig because of me. So he did it. He covered for me, and he's lovely. No, he's played drums Black Grape. I love Shane. He's a real drummer. He loves drums. He loves it. He's a real proper drummer. So no, not at all. He's a good friend. So no, I wasn't that. No, I used to like Black Grape, so I like listening to him. So I did for a little bit. I didn't last night. I think I went back to my room with a cup of tea and more about the Jamesons. I think had a really night.
Right, I think this is what because there's quite a lot of myths about Happy Mondays. In 2002, there's like the film 24-Hour Party People. I'm sure I've seen that one. I was all like thinking which bit there is. But how much of it is actually true? Because the bit about new orders, say the Blue Monday one, saying that they've lost 5p for every single copy of Blue Monday that they've sold.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I went to see Stephen Morris last Thursday. He actually said that's not true.
Oh, no, it's not true. Well, there you go. Then it's not true. Then he's probably one of Tony Wilson was good at spinning a story. So there you go. Good. There's lots of things like there's always a story that we broke Factory Records, like the album. Not true. But in fact, Factory Records owed us about 900 grand. It wasn't. It wasn't. I'm glad he cleared that. So it's not true. Right, there you go.
It's not true. He said no. That's not.
See, that's good. But how brilliant is Tony Wilson at doing that? That's what's great. You see, I didn't. See, even I thought that was true. All right. Because Factory did spend a lot on sleeves, and they were. The colours on the vinyl was always really heavy. Somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, well, he did say that it's the holes on those sleeves that actually cost money.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but but it's not. That's not the actual truth. Because I mean, he even worked it out. He even did the maths. He said that there's just no way that that it lost 5 people.
One of Tony's PR stunts, which is a great one because even I believed it. There you go. I don't believe it because I wouldn't surprise me. Factory, they were that disorganized. That wouldn't surprise me. So, well, good. Yeah. That's not true.
Well, have you got any because when you think of Happy Mondays, like Trevor was saying that when the connection with Can or the similarities with Can, he said that it must be the same drugs. So it's like,
I don't know what they were taking. Probably everything. I don't know. It's just we all had our different things. I was more of a Guinness and ganja man myself, but I liked to. I've had my moments. Don't get me wrong. But I never got into the heavy stuff they got into. I had friends who got into that early on, so out of the band. So I never got into any of that. So I was. So no, not really. But and ecstasy was really the big thing for us. But apart from that, no. I've had my moments. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't really a.
But ecstasy was at the time. There's not just musicians, but everybody was taking it.
I was saying that night. Everyone you go into your local bank to cash your royalty check, and you're banking in the bank when you go to the bank manager. Didn't I see you in your underwear with Paige on stage the other night dancing? In a nappy with something like this, and it's like, well, yeah, and it's like, everyone was everyone. It was just great. He was. Everyone was. I remember one day I was in town. It was an unusual sunny day in the summer, and on Oldham Street, it's still a bit rough and ready then. I remember seeing everyone walking around, and it was a lot of peace and love and that. This would have been about 88, 89 maybe. I remember thinking, this must have been a little bit like what Haight Ashby was, in San Francisco in 67, early on, before they became. It was really like that. It was a really, really nice time because when we like going to the in the 80s, me, Paul Ryan and that, because it wasn't like the usual nightclubs we managed to wear. Everyone was just violence, violence, and so it was different away from it all, And then all of a sudden, this peace and love came in. There was no violence, and everyone was just getting on. It was, and you know what? I don't want it to sound. It was just beautiful. It was really, really nice. It was just a really, really nice time.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing that I really I wish I'd gone, because when I came here in 1996, it was open, but I've heard that quite a lot of violence was all
I didn't go. I'd go the odd time, but I stopped in 1990, probably 91, but in the 80s, it was late 80s up to 90, and there was a time when it was just really, really nice. I mean, really lovely. I mean, they were just the fridges behind the bar were just stacked up with water. No one was drinking alcohol, hardly anyone. But there really wasn't, and it was just lovely. Everyone was just. I mean, it was. How sound soppy? It was just a really, really nice time, really lovely time. Around everyone was really friendly with each other. It was great.
Yeah. I missed out on that one, but anyways.
Yeah, well, it didn't last in the 60s. I naively, like the hippies, thought that this would be the turning point, but Just wouldn't let us. People loving each other and all being peaceful.
And you're writing a book, or is it just 2 books apparently? Is it like there's 3?
The trilogy.
Wow.
The first one I'm doing now is called All My Friends Are Junkies, and it's just about us up to Top of the Pops, and after that the second book will be about the time when we're kind of successful. I don't know what to call that, the high time, high and mighty. I'm not really yet. And the third one will be Barbados. So yeah, I'm halfway through that now. Up to get, and I'm going to do a little soundtrack with it, some acoustic version of Monday songs, maybe a couple of weeks.
What's the timeline? When can we expect? I
want to get it done by. We're in December now, aren't we already? I want to get it done by. I want to get it done by spring, definitely.
Oh, that's brilliant! Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's coming. It's really more about me being a young kid, and like the first 2 chapters of my coming of age with the band, you know, and seeing it from my point of view.
Yeah.
Being the youngest and watching, you know. But anyway.
Was it hard? So, like being, you know, like having all these like adults or having all these older people like telling you what to do, or was it like...
Well, no, they didn't really tell me what to do. It was kind of, well, it was all kind of, it was an autonomous collective of, you know, no, we were kind of all, we never really did that. We never really bossed each other around. We all kind of got on with it. We not really, but yeah, I think Mark and Sean are certainly a lot older than me, so they obviously still look, and probably still do to this day, look down on me as the kid. And back then, I was, you know, if I'm 15, 16, they're 20. But you're not going to take a 16-year-old kid serious, you know, and fair, you know, I understand that. And I think that takes the time to grow out of that. And I think maybe there's still a little bit of that. I don't know. Maybe when you get older, in your 50s, you don't really see it like that. But yeah.
Yeah, the gap is not that much. So like,
when you get older, I mean, I always try to think myself that I always think myself as George Harrison, you know. But
well, Jenny Stevenson just joined us, and she wanted to know what was the name of the band you were in with Andy Rourke, because she saw you at Boardwalk. So what was the name of that band in the 90s? So were you in a band with Andy Rourke?
Yes, but I don't remember playing the Boardwalk. It was called, the band kept changing its name, but I think at the end it was called Delicious, which is a dreadful name. I think it was called Sonic Boutique Delicious. Yeah, we had another name as well.
That's the name of the band?
Yeah, same band. We must have played the Boardwalk. You know what, actually, I've got a funny feeling we played the Boardwalk with...
Well, Jenny said that you did. Yeah, she saw you there.
I might have played with Travis, supporting Travis for some reason. I've got that in my head for some reason. Don't know why. Sure, we played with Travis.
Anyway. Well, so apart from sort of like Ringo Starr, do you have any other heroes, drumming heroes, or?
Yeah, Gene Krupa, the usual ones. But I think the biggest one at the time was Pete DeFreitas, the Echo and the Bunnymen. That's who I was.
Yeah.
By the way, I've only got about 5 minutes. I've got to do my COVID test online.
Oh yeah, of course, that's right. Yeah,
online with the news.
That's true. So we're not gonna hear Lazy-itis then. I thought maybe I could see a microphone there, and then maybe you could some other time. So like, yeah, because you're going to do that one. So last question. Have you got any other? Have you got any advice to aspiring drummers out there? So.
Don't do it. You know what I would say? I think I would say, you know, the obvious. Just listen to all different styles of music. Make a. I've nearly said cassette then. You know, make a playlist of different genres of music. Drums, songs that you like, completely different from rock to jazz, completely.
Yeah.
I'm going to a playlist for an hour and a half, put headphones on, just play along to that. That's the best thing you can ever do, I think. If you want to be a session drummer, then it's just rudiments and being boring. But no, genres of music and just play along to them and just have fun, just enjoy it. If you don't, you're not going to get good at it.
Yeah. And I know you've just got back in Canada, but when are you coming back to Manchester?
I don't think till the end of May.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gaz. We had a bit of a problem at the beginning, but we got there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you back here in Manchester. And I'll go and wait for that book as well. So we'll
connect when I get back. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no problem. You can share.
All right.
Always.
Well, Okay, thank you so much. You will just say bye to our friends watching us. So,
See you, everyone.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Oh my god, thank you so much. That was so good. And I'm sorry that we started a bit late because we're having a bit of a technical issues, but we sorted it out in the end. So thank you so much once again, and I'm really glad that you're here. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. We've got two more drummers for December before the year ends. So it's gonna be this one actually on Boxing Day, which is a Christmas special. So I'm really looking forward to that. I hope you can all join us. But for now, so thank you and love music, love life, and love drummers. Because just like Gaz Whelan, he's just so awesome. So one love, everyone. Bye. Bye.